Hi everyone. Happy November 1st, 2020. Some of us consider this New Year's Day. Welcome. Um, how was your guys' Halloween? Did you guys do anything interesting? Go ahead and like and comment down below. I'd really look forward to hearing, especially if any of you that have any sort of personal practice. I love to set my stuff up out in my backyard. I probably look kind of silly because I'm like carrying like packages of things, like three trips outside with all of my belongings. It reminds me of when I was a kid. I used to like have this obsession with living out in the forest or living out in nature. So I remember bringing all of my toys out to the backyard and I'd set it up kind of amongst the trees, amongst the bushes and shit until I remember I had this doll. It was probably about this tall or so. It was blonde and it looked like me. And then I found a spider in its hair once when I was outside and I never once took my shit out again. So it kind of reminds me of that. It reminded me of that earlier today. I was like, oh, I guess I do still have that part of myself, you know? Every time I move, the clouds move too. Sorry guys, hope that's not a little disillusioning. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. It's been a beautiful day. I had a beautiful evening last night. I worked most of the time, but I also have been able to host personal ritual almost every day. This time of year, I always seem to reconnect with my spirituality, and this is something I've talked about in my other videos, talked about on my Instagram and on my YouTube, the opposite of whatever you're watching this on right now. And I'm just really happy to be back into my practice. I feel like as soon as I return to my practice and as soon as I rededicate myself, things start coming in line for me. Like, shout out to Medicine Snake over on Instagram. I won a Deviant Moon Tarot last night. Out of nowhere, she pulled my name out of a hat after kind of posting how I like to spend my Samhain evenings. And I'm really, really grateful. I'm really grateful for that. So, yeah, keep a lookout for there, and I'll be able to start doing some new readings with that. With that being said, I'm using a different deck than I usually do. Look at this beautiful little box I have. Isn't it cool? It's got some scratches at the top, which kind of bum me out. But I'm going to be using the Wildwood Tarot. So this is a deck that I've had. I had this deck quite a long time ago, and then I think I gave it away. If you read tarot, like, you give that shit away. You buy 100 of them, and then you just end up without them, and you end up with new ones. So I'm really looking forward to this Deviant Moon Tarot. We'll see how it goes. It looked pretty abstract, man. We'll see. Anyway, these are very druidic, very Celtic. I actually, look at this at. This is the bottom card. This is what I'm going to be getting as a tattoo on the rest of my arm right here. I forgot that that's what I wanted, this specific one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that eventually in the future. We'll see. Once I have some extra money that I'm not spending on traveling or tarot cards, I guess. I really like this deck. I used it a little bit before I started this video, just kind of for a personal reading, and it was spot fucking on. And I'm really happy to hear that. Sometimes decks, you kind of lose a connection with them. Like with my Witch's Tarot, I don't really want to use it anymore. Every time I feel like I'm doing readings on here, or like at least the last like 2 weeks doing readings on here, I'm doing it for myself, and I'm like, I don't know, it just feels a little disconnected, you know? These are different. I do have the book here in case I'm feeling saucy and wanna hear what they have to say, but otherwise I'm really looking forward to doing this reading. This is my November 1st monthly reading, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the past, the present, and the future. The past being what is now on its way out of our lives that is still affecting us. So what's kind of the main topic of, or the main theme, or the main pattern of things that we've been working with up until this point, and that is now starting to leave us. I'm going to be focusing on the present aspect. So what's going on from this? What are the lessons that we're learning currently, or what are the patterns that we're focusing on currently? And then the future. So what is it that we cannot yet see that is on its way into our life? Tarot is interesting because people always talk about, or like when you first get into tarot, you think, oh my god, I'm going to ask it for the future, I'm going to do fortune tellings, or at least maybe girls do, you know? We're always like, does he like me? Does he like me, or does he like me like me? You know? I remember being a kid, you know what I was remembering recently? Was that when I was young, like, the reason, this is going to be like an overarching card, I feel that one. Whenever I was a kid, I used to live in this really creaky old house, and I would stay up at night, and I would ask God, okay, I would ask him questions, and if the house creaked once, it would be a yes, and if it creaked twice, it would be a no, and I would just stay up for hours in doing that. Does anyone else do that? Did you guys do that? Maybe that's how I eventually ended up getting into tarot, personally. All right, I feel like that's a good shuffle. It literally, I like hear it in my head. They're like, that's good. So I'm like, okay. So, spread it out. You guys like my outfit? I got these for Halloween, and I never really got to wear them. I didn't get to wear them yesterday because I served tables, and I probably would have dropped shit, and it would have been a bad night. But, you know, to wear lipstick because I don't get to wear lipstick anymore. And so these videos are fun for getting dressed up. Hope you guys like it. Hope you're able to dress up too, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what we got here. So we're going to be asking for the past, the present, and the future. This card that I pulled is going to be kind of just the overarching theme of everything that we have going on right now. Let's see. Do you guys have a tarot deck that you like to use? Any of my followers or any of my clients, I guess? Do you have any particular deck that you like to use, or any particular like mythology that you work closely with? I would really love to hear about that. Okay. I feel like we're going to start with the present card, and it's going to be this one right here. Interesting, that's not really where I wanted to pick. Whenever I do this, I like see the deck a little bit differently in my head than when I put my hand down on it. So this is going to be the present. I can feel the past one over here. I think it's this one right here. I always have to remind myself, if I find myself staring at something or looking at something repeatedly, that means that that's kind of like about to come into my life. I was driving the other day, and there was a road, I think it was like Ferguson Road or something like that, and I kept staring at it, and I kept looking directly at it, and I was like, why am I looking at that? Why am I paying attention to that so much? And I was like, you know what, when that happens, that means that that's something that's going to come into my life. And then the next day I had someone ask me if I knew where Ferguson Road was, and I almost peed my pants. I was like, I absolutely, follow me. Okay, past, present, and future. You guys ready? Okay, thank you for being here. Happy November. It doesn't feel like November. It's like really, really nice out right now, out in rural Nevada. Let me know where you guys are at, where you guys are coming from. Do you like my little setup here? This is my owl wing, or my owl claw, or my fucking owl feather. Sorry, guys. I have a bunch of my other crystals set up here. I have had this crystal my entire life. So this is the crystal that I've had longer than anything else, and it's been on almost every single altar I've had since I was 13. So, all right, let's see. Okay, you know what? So the card that we pulled above everything is the Four of Vessels. I've been pulling this in my Witch's Tarot, my Ellen Dugan Tarot. Sorry I'm so far away. I really wanted to be able to let you guys see my setup here. So the Four of Vessels. So the overarching energy of what we have going on is there's this woman, and she's surrounded by all these cups of water, and she is just bored to death. She has everything that she could need. There's everything around her is flourishing. She's dressed nicely. She looks like a well-kept woman, but that we have what we need, but we don't really care anymore. I don't know about you guys, but I know that I have been kind of working through this level of complacency, or this level of feeling like, what's the point? What are we even doing? Why for everything? Why do we continue to go on about our lives the way that we do? What is it that we have to look forward to? And a lot of it comes down to us recognizing that we may be taking for granted what it is that we have in our lives right now. Like, yeah, I have a good job. Okay, well, no, you have a good job. You need to remember that. You need to be consciously and actively aware of that. And not in a way that weighs us down, but just to look around and say, you know what? The grass isn't always greener. Not as green as this shit, because this is fake grass. Okay. The past. What is it that's leaving our lives? The King of Stones. I hate trump cards. I do. It's just really hard for me to read sometimes. So the past card, the King of Stones, it is the Wolf, and he is, trying to make sure you guys can see it really well. He is the King of Pentacles. Pentacles are the representation of Earth, and the King is kind of like being not only at the top of your gang, but having a full recognition and a full knowledge of what it is that's surrounding you in your life. So this is having to do with the past. Maybe you felt like, you know, it has the full moon, which is the full moon's tonight, or it was last night. And so he is known as the wolf is known as a nocturnal animal, and it's the winter time. So he's looking up at the moon, and he's kind of taking into consideration, or he's howling for something, he's desiring something, and he's howling to kind of keep into contact with all of his other wolfen brethren. Is that how you say that? and it's winter time. So this could represent like us moving into the winter time, that maybe we have certain expectations of what the winter's going to be like, and maybe we're not so looking forward to it as much, or we're feeling like, oh great, we're getting ready to go into this situation where, you know, not only was our summer kind of taken away from coronavirus, but now we have to go into the winter time, and it's going to be dark, it's going to be cold, it's going to be maybe even lonelier than it was before. And so that's something that we're not hoping is going to return, that we're going to have to deal with and find some sort of, not take for granted the things that we do have just because it's cold outside, or just because we feel like we don't have the opportunity to do as much as we would like to. The present, oh my gosh, wow. This card's upside down, so I typically don't ever read with reversals. This is the Six of Stones, the exploitation card. So look at that. Sorry, there you guys go. So exploitation. Whenever I read, I remember with this book, every time I would pull out this card, it would represent humanity and our inability to properly deal with things on Earth. The fact that we find something that has a good source of energy, or a good source of something that we desire, and then we'll just milk it dry. And that's not said for every one of us, but it's said for some of us. And so I feel like maybe right now what we're looking at is that we're seeking things that we desire, but we're not taking into consideration the things that we have right now. So it being reversed, what I think that means is that we need to be focusing on and taking care of the things that we have right now, taking care of our friends, taking care of our family, taking care of our obligations, our responsibilities, and to not take these things for granted, but to recognize that you have these things for a reason, and that we're lucky and we're grateful to have these things. A lot of all this energy is focusing on what we already do have, not what we freaking wish we had, or not what we, are desiring of so much so that we're ignoring and neglecting what we have already. The future card, so the Spark of Life, the Ace of Bows, this is the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is showing us that this reinvigoration for life, or that this desire and this passion for life is about to return to us, and that we need to maintain and uphold the things that we have right now, so that when new opportunity and when springtime returns, we're going to be able to say, you know what, I took care of all the shit that I needed to during the winter time, and that I'm ready for 2021. I'm ready for whatever is coming else. I thought this reading was going to be about November, but I don't think it necessarily is. I think it's just moving forward towards the next part of the year. Take care of your bees, because happy bees make good honey. What do we have that we may be taking for granted? Or take into consideration all the things that you have. What areas do you have all of this kind of power? And power meaning, I have a beautiful house to take care of, regardless of whether you rent or if you own, or if you live with people, whatever. You have a home, you have friendships, you have a job, you have all of these things that you are considered the leader of, and that you need to step up, and you need to stand up, and you need to put your shoulders down, and you need to sit straight up, and you need to actually take care of these things, and to not be neglectful of it just because it feels barren, or just because they feel cold, or just because, we've already had it, nothing exciting's here, nothing new is coming. And at the end, I'm speaking, once again, every time I do these, I'm really speaking to myself as well, thinking about, okay, there's areas of my life that I wish that I could be doing better, but what is it that I have that I need to be grateful for? I have friends, I have family, I have these beautiful cats, I have a job, I have this writing workshop that I'm doing, I have this beautiful podcast, all of these things. Just because we already have it doesn't mean that we can't keep desiring it, and desiring to make it better, and to further it along. Let me know if that helps, you guys. Just remember, we have something to look forward to. This Ace of Wands, that's a great card. It means that not only is there going to be a reinvigoration for life, but there's going to be new things that are coming into our life, and we need to make sure that we can even take care of all the things we have now, so that we can take on more stuff later. Okay? I love you guys. Don't forget to vote. I'm going to go and try and post this. You guys, you know how long it takes for me to post one of these videos? By the way, whenever I post this, it takes like 6 hours, and it drains my phone battery. My brand new camera on my computer is awful, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get myself a new video camera and a new podcasting mic, so that I can continue to communicate with you guys even better, okay? All right. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe to my channel, okay?